So, let's talk about something huge that's happening right now. We're in the middle of a fundamental reinvention of business. Seriously. It's this massive shift away from the old way of doing things towards a brand new model that's not just about being profitable, but also about solving some of the world's biggest problems.
Now, that is a bold statement for sure, but it gets right to the heart of the matter. The way we've been doing business, laser focused on just the financial returns, has come with some staggering social and environmental costs. We're talking about everything from pollution to using up our natural resources. The old model is really starting to show its cracks.
For centuries, this has been the engine of global production. It's actually pretty simple. We take stuff from the earth, we make products out of it, and when we're done, we just throw them away. But here's the catch. That whole system was built on a pretty big assumption that we have infinite resources and infinite space for all our trash. And well, we're finding out pretty quickly that's just not the case.
And here is the reality check. If we don't change course, we are on track to generate 3.4 billion tons of waste every single year by 2050. Now, this isn't just an environmental issue, It's a huge economic one. Think about it. That number represents a massive loss of valuable materials and energy just tossed aside.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to look at why the old model is failing, and then we'll redefine what success even looks like. We'll examine some new, exciting models for making an impact, and see where that sweet spot is, where profit meets purpose. We'll also get real about the hurdles ahead. And finally, explore what this regenerative future could look like.
All right, the first step in this whole transformation is really a philosophical one. It requires us to completely shift our thinking. We need to move away from a purely extractive mindset where we just take value out of the system to one that's actually regenerative, where we're actively creating value for society and the environment.
And that's where this idea of regenerative capitalism comes in. The goal here isn't just to do less harm, but to actively improve our world. It's about building an economic system that wants to grow wealth across the board, not just for shareholders, but for communities and for the planet itself. So you might be wondering, how do businesses actually measure this new kind of success? Well, one of the most popular frameworks is something called the triple bottom line. Instead of only looking at the profit and loss statement, companies start to evaluate their performance based on three things: their impact on people, their effect on the planet, and, of course, their financial profit. It's like a whole new scorecard for a 21st century business. You can really see how the thinking has evolved over time here. A decade or so ago, the big focus was just on corporate responsibility, basically trying to do less bad stuff. But that's just not enough anymore. The goalposts have shifted, first towards building resilience, and now to the ultimate aim, regeneration, actively making things better. All right, so that's the big idea, the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How are companies putting these new models for impact into practice? Let's dive in.
Here's the core difference in a nutshell. A traditional business is legally built to do one thing: maximize profit for its shareholders, period. But a social enterprise, it's built from the ground up to create what's called dual value. Its mission is to solve a social or environmental problem, and profit becomes the engine that helps it grow and scale that impact. And listen, this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. As you can see here, there's a whole spectrum of models. You've got your traditional nonprofits that run on donations, all the way to for-profit social enterprises that make their money from sales. This diversity is great because it lets entrepreneurs pick the exact structure that fits their mission the best.
Okay, another really powerful model is the circular economy. This is a total redesign of how we make and use things. Instead of that take, make, dispose line, the whole goal is to create a closed-loop system. A system where waste is designed out from the very beginning, products are built to last and be reused, and we actually help regenerate nature in the process.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but is it actually profitable? And the answer is a resounding yes. This shift isn't just about ethics or feeling good. It's unlocking some of the biggest economic opportunities of our time. Let's just start with the big numbers, shall we? According to research from Accenture, the circular economy alone could unlock $4.5 trillion in new economic value by 2030. That is not a niche market, people. This is the future of economic growth. And investors are really taking notice. I mean, just look at this growth curve. In less than a decade, investment in these circular economy businesses has absolutely exploded, from just $50 million to $2 billion. The smart money is flowing towards these new, sustainable models. So where is all this growth happening? Well, this chart shows that sectors like fashion, electronics, and agriculture are really leading the charge. And what's fascinating is that these are industries traditionally known for a ton of waste. Now, they're becoming these incredible hotbeds of innovation and investment.
Let's get specific with an example from agriculture, urban vertical farming. By growing food right inside cities, these businesses slash transportation costs and cut down on food waste like crazy. And the numbers prove it's a real viable business. The market is projected to hit over $33 billion, and mature farms are reporting really healthy profit margins.
And it's not just startups either. We're seeing this movement all over the place. You've got brands like Code Epoxy that build poverty alleviation right into their revenue model. Our Place is building a community around sustainable cookware, and Merit Goodness turns its clothing sales into college scholarships. These companies are all living proof that you can do well by doing good.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. This huge transition isn't going to be a walk in the park. Shifting an entire economic system is a massive undertaking, and you can bet there are some significant barriers that we need to address.
And these hurdles, these roadblocks, they can pretty much be grouped into 4 main categories. Everything from our own habits to the technology that's available. First, you've got cultural barriers. We're just so used to a disposable mindset, you know? Then there are regulatory hurdles where old laws can accidentally get in the way of new circular models. High startup costs can create market barriers, making some of these new ventures seem less viable at first. And finally, we still face technological challenges in scaling up some of these really innovative solutions. But even with all those challenges, the momentum here is just undeniable. We are moving towards a regenerative future, and the field of opportunity is expanding every single day. Just to give you a taste of what's happening, let's look at one small piece of this new economy: carbon credits. The demand for these is expected to grow by a factor of 15 or more by 2030. That alone signals a massive shift in how we value our natural world and a huge opportunity for businesses that can help regenerate our planet. So here's the crucial point. For the last century, we've thought of innovation in terms of technology, right? The next app, the next gadget. But what if the most powerful, most important innovation of our time isn't a piece of hardware at all? What if it's a new way of doing business? A new playbook that finally aligns profit with purpose and actually regenerates our world for the generations to come?